Hello and welcome back to Of the Devil. I believe last part we're getting Sarah assessed and registered. We learned a bit about like how we learned a lot about androids in general, how they have a specific number of tenets to gauge how free they are. And how they try to keep, there's like the uncanny valley of it all aspect. So they're trying to make these warm androids, but they don't want to see them to seem too human, or else things just like get a little conflicted. Yeah. I turn around and I saw my cat sneaking. Other cat has appeared in. Oh wait, is there? Hey. Or just lock eyes with your cat for like 5 whole seconds and nothing happened. Yeah. Oh, that's right! We were called up to... Oh, we got called to a specific floor. I forgot by who. Gang? I don't remember. It's whoever Dr. Ashur worked with? Question mark? I believe. I forgot. I forgot! Right. Thinking first is a sign of weakness, is it? And here I thought I could avoid wading into the swamp of corporate pretend power dynamics. Let her stew. Silence is only awkward if you care. I can ignore social cues all day long. Oh, Jung, that's right. Always like this time of day. Not too muggy for you? No, I never liked the clear blue sky. It always seemed cold to me. Did it flash like the name for like a second, then go back to question marks? You're in luck. The day gets more colorful every year. The sky gets more colorful every year. As the air quality drops. Childish, isn't it? Marveling all the small sheen of rainbow dancing on the surface of a massive oil spill. Apologies for waxing poetic. It's been a very unusual 24 hours around here. Dr. Jung. Just Miss is fine. Miss Jung, I get the feeling you didn't bring me up here to talk about the weather. No, I brought you up here to express my condolences. I'm very sorry for your loss. Thank you, though I could say the same. I know you and David worked together for many years. Yes, we did, but as much as I'd like to just drop everything and process, the company wheels don't stop spinning for anything. Or anyone. Was Dawes of any help? You sent him? Trying to be helpful or just trying to control the narrative? It was great. But that must mean you know why I'm here. I don't want to make assumptions. No need, I'll be explicit. I'm here as an officer of the court, which means I'm bound by law to document every rock I turn over. And every person I speak to. Yes, the lawyers made that all very clear. Lawyers? You have an android. It's not one of ours. You can tell that quickly? Got all the faces memorized? It's easy enough to remember the major archetypes we use, yes. You're nuts about your work, maybe. It's a recent acquisition. Very recent, in fact. One of David's last requests, apparently. David asked you to take it. I've been told that you've been to David's estate already. The police gave me full access to the scene. You know that he wasn't alone last night. Yes, there's a single witness who met with him and called emergency services when he fainted. I was that witness. Oh! I thought it was gonna be this music person that we were looking for. Powell or whatever. We never really got the name. But this is an interesting turn. What if it's just straight up she did it? No, we gotta get more people, but immediate suspicion. Really? Obviously. There aren't that many people David would bother meeting with in person, let alone welcoming them into his home and offering them a drink. I also knew that Jung is his superior, on paper though, not in fame. I knew that the witness had executive plan 3 insurance, so they had to be higher up than David. Well then, do your lawyers know we're having this conversation? Of course. They're pulling their hair out about it as we speak. I can't imagine why. The police cleared you. And you were well within your rights to ask for some privacy, given the high-profile nature of all that's happened. So why call me up here? Why cut through all the red tape your lawyers painstakingly hid you behind? Eventually you, or some clever lawyer like you, would get the record open. Through legal means or otherwise. The company's enemies are legion, and they have a prying knife for any occasion. Still, that would have taken time. Time you can use to get ahead of what could be the biggest PR hurdle Noble's ever seen. Touché. And... so perhaps the truth of the matter is I simply didn't want to hide. David was my colleague for several years. If I were in your shoes, I would have questions as well. Ah, she doesn't really give a guilty air now. I don't know. Maybe there has to be some other events that we don't have. We're not aware of yet. Doing this for my sake. No, my reasons are purely selfish. Well, hoping that talking to someone whose job isn't to defend me from all consequences might prove therapeutic. If he wants to play confessional, that's fine by me. Is that really all that's going on here? Why don't you start from the beginning then? Yeah, we need an unfolding of this whole scene. You went to his house last night? Yes, at around 7:30 p.m. The building's penumbra captured all of that quite clearly. He fell ill around 8 p.m., so you spent half an hour together? Why do I call person? We had an intense discussion yesterday afternoon. David never came in on Saturdays, and I didn't want to spend the weekend glaring at him through screens, so I visited, and he let me in, and we talked. About the good old days, if you can believe that. Back when we were both new to the company, eager to make a name for ourselves. How long ago was that? 7 or 8 years ago? It's young. Putting a number on it. It doesn't sound that long ago, but it feels... We spent a while like that, just talking. He was lively and sharp. I never would have thought that a few minutes later... that he would be dead? That he would commit suicide in front of me. Firm reply. What happened? Quarter before 8, he said he wanted to toast. He got up, walked back to his workshop, and then he must have went down to his basement to get us a bottle. I checked some messages in the meantime, enjoyed the view. In other words, she stayed on camera. Came back with a bottle of whiskey and 2 paper cups. 2 plastic cups. Why did I say paper cups? What am I, stupid? Also, I wanna get a picture of her. She might be good for her. Might be good for the thumbnail. It depends on how long we're talking to her. But this is pretty important stuff. What we need is that video. We need to see how exactly everything went down. We drank and talked. He got quieter, spoke less. I thought he was getting drunk. I didn't get worried until he started to fall asleep. You tried to wake him? He wasn't responding. I tried to shake him awake, but he didn't see him. I left him and ran to the kitchen to use the security system. Didn't think to use your phone? No. I suppose I didn't. But it worked out. The number's emergency protocol summoned Beetle straight to his helipad with one button press. When I returned to the parlor, he was limp. Moved into the floor as delicately as I could. Okay, so that explains the body position. He had a heartbeat, but I just did what I could until they arrived. You went with them to the hospital, I take it? Yes, they insisted. They checked my vitals during tox screen, which came back clean. So did David's, for all the good it did him. I wasn't paying close attention to what they were saying at that point, but I'm sure they ran through every step of the CCE's SOP. That's what they're paid to do. You seem certain that it was suicide. Yes. Why? As I said, he got quieter as the time passed, and he spoke less. The last thing he said to me, the last clear thing he said, was that he was happy ending it here. That he was content. He downed his glass after that. He drank every last drop. Does that sound like David Ashur to you? Curious, relentless, perfectionist David? No, because it doesn't. Okay, shit. So we have we have quite a bit. I'm gonna ask about the cups. I've been curious about this ever since I saw the scene. Why the plastic cups? There's a story there. David and I got hired around the same time, under similar circumstances. Headhunted while finishing our higher education. During recruiting, the company claimed to want us badly, but in practice, our actual authority was inexperienced and overpaid. Must have been extremely unpopular. You don't mince words. We didn't either back then. We were loudly trying to convince our superiors that their entire sales model for androids was antiquated and self-defeating. I probably didn't say that right, but I understand. The two of them made the 1-point doctrine. It's not the story I've heard in Noble commercials. Noble sponsored me. And come to think of it, it's not a story I've ever heard from David himself. We had this deadline, self-imposed, but still a deadline. We wanted to get our pitch to the president of international sales by end of day. 7 p.m. rolls around and people start filtering out. David still has his head buried in diagrams as sale figures. Imagine a technical man like him, a programmer trying to make a sales pitch. The clock hits 9, and the zombies start heading home. I turn to David and tell him that's not gonna happen. We're nowhere near finished, and the day's long since it's been over. He looked at me like I'm the only other person on a sinking boat, and I've just stopped pitching water. He says, "The president lives on the other side of the globe. We've still got all night until his end of day." We wrapped up at 4 in the morning. Just us and the cleaning staff. Back then, only half of them were ads. He finally sends a message, and I am ready to collapse. I've got nothing. He stared blankly at his inbox for the next 40 minutes, hoping that the harsh light would give us the energy to work through the next day. And we got a response. It wasn't long, but it showed he was interested. I had been turned down so many times before then. Ignored, and I've never known how to fucking pronounce that word. Is it placated? I feel like that's not right. Passed up and ghosted. But together, David and I had finally gotten a win. David asked if I've gotten anything to drink. I got a bottle of some swill in a cabinet at my desk. He doesn't want to drink from the bottle, he says. He says he wants to toast. Oh wait, this is... Hold on. Now this... He's got the same green hair as Sarah. He really just made a daughter. And the themes of orange. So we sat there at 5:19 in the morning, toasting awful vodka to one another in cups we grabbed from the break room. Toasting our first victory against the corporate beast. Between the lack of sleep and the drinking, next day at work was hell. Sounds like a good memory. Plastic cups and liquor, that was their little ritual. I'm wondering if... She says some, like, the final words he gave her was, that he was, like, content. This, like... Fuck, did he say it was, like, it's, like, happy end? I feel like there was probably something really misinterpreted there, and he wasn't talking about his, like, life. I feel like there's something there. I wonder if it's between, like, them. Or the job. That's also a possibility. That maybe he wanted to resign or something. We would have to know more about what they were talking about. I feel like that's a possibility. So I'm also convinced that he didn't end his own life. I didn't think twice when he presented me with my cup. It was ceremony for us. I haven't saved him in I got so many credits! I almost clicked the title. Yeah, she's got his colors. Okay, let's talk about this. Oop. You said CCE standard operating procedure a moment ago. What is that? CCE stands for Counter Corporate Espionage, which is just industry doublespeak for corporate espionage. Only used as self-defense, you understand? So Noble anticipates employees at your level getting poisoned. They give us all kinds of CCE training. Subtly, of course. Usually disguised on itinerary as leadership workshops or psychiatric evaluations. They train you to expect to get murdered at these leadership workshops. Murder is fairly rare at our level. More likely they'll want us too sick to work. Let's drain corporate resources in a hospital bed while our position sits vacant. That's smart, like snipers purposely avoiding vital areas to strain the enemy's medical resources. That's terrible, like snipers purposely avoiding vital areas in order to strain the enemy's medical resources. Sorry, I didn't expect her to repeat it somehow. Just like... That's nothing compared to when they want to turn an asset. Feel ill for the rest of your life with an undiagnosable malady. Or become our mole and we'll send you to the antidote. I send you the antidote every 2 weeks. It's a nasty piece of work. It's a nasty line of work. Consulting. I'm sorry? That's just what they call it. Can't exactly put corporate spy on our CV. So every consultant I've met at a cocktail party was actually... It depends. Did they say they were consultants? Or did they just say they were in consulting? How am I supposed to remember? So, do your people think that what happened to David was a deliberate attack? Noble's competitors have been trying to get to David for years. And that's the timescale their plan operates on. If this was an attack from a rival corporation, the company would have seen it coming. And they'd probably have struck first. Rude, Noble. I want to save Sarah for last. As VP of Android Futures, you're David's superior, aren't you? That's correct. Didn't you join the company at around the same time? David was always more interested in his work than he was in climbing the ladder. He didn't like playing the corporate politics game. So was he unpopular around here? Not unpopular, no. Not the great David Ashur. I meant to say doctor when I was trying to re-say it. Misunderstood, perhaps. Oh, so. He could be blunt, demanding, some might say. He wasn't trying to be. It's just not everyone could work at the same pace as he did, for as long as he did. Even with the whole company huffing those inhalers, they couldn't keep pace with David. Speaking of which, I don't see any at Junk's desk. Maybe it's just not something you leave out in the open at her level. So you would say that his work-life balance was... Balance implies the two are at odds with one another. We use the life-work harmony here at the company. Fascinating. So was he in harmony? No. David always had plenty of suitors, but he was never willing to put the time in. But I'm sure you're more knowledgeable than I am on that subject. Right. What do you mean? I had to help him draft a lot of apology notes over the years for misunderstandings and double bookings. It's scandalous. Animate 16. I always want to save in case, like, one of the dialogues just ends the conversation. I really want to try to get as much out. A16's only entered production this year, correct? Correct. Pre-ordered started last holiday and we've begun shipping in the first quarter. I understand that you were instrumental in the success of Warm Androids. Played my part supervising the launch, yes. Weren't you the one who designed serotonin? The factor that enabled communications between synthetic and organic parts. I'm surprised you've heard of that. I did lead that project, yes, but that was years ago. At the time, serotonin was little more than a novelty, a dead end. It wasn't until David took the reins on the A16 that we found a use for it. Took the reins? He was lead programmer on limb coordination, facial expressions, exhaustion perimeters. And he designed the synthetic nerves that made all of that possible. David did all of that. It's a lot more than just programming. Is he also so gifted in that many fields? Did he fill those roles on the A14 or A15? No. He used to stick steadfast to his role as a software architect. That was his field of expertise, and he didn't wander far. 2 or 3 years back, he started sitting in on other departments, taking notes. Soon he was joining the discussion, proposing new ideas, and eventually it came to follow his lead. Just like that. Just like that. So he just applied himself and soon he was leading other departments. That's the kind of genius that Dr. David Ashur was. Maybe they weren't paying him enough. The company profited the most, of course, but the entire industry benefited from his vision and leadership. This loss will be felt for years. Now we talk about Sarah. God, what if it ends up being Sarah somehow? That'd be insane. So this android, Sarah. Even Dawes couldn't find any real details on where it came from. It's not any of our systems. I'm afraid not. Did David ever talk to you or anyone else at the company about a pet project? Pet? No, he never gave me any indication like that. If he didn't talk to me about it, I seriously doubt he confided in anyone else at the company. David didn't trust anyone higher on the chain than himself and anyone below him. Frankly, they couldn't possibly hope to give him advice. He never mentioned me? No, never. Androids don't come cheap. You ever heard about him requisitioning parts or resources? There were never any discrepancies within his company credit card. The company's accountants are mirthless. Even by industry standards, they wouldn't humor anybody. Not even David Ashur. If they had ever detected financial discrepancies, they would have been an upward loud enough you could hear it in the mailroom. You have a mailroom? Not since the 30s, just a figure of speech. Why are you so interested in mailrooms? You couldn't have taken resources from the company without leaving a record. No one would deny Dr. David Ashur information. He would have been able to obtain all the necessary data to build his own android. Then, with enough time and money, he could privately purchase the raw materials himself. I don't understand it. It must have taken him years to build Sarah. He wasn't doing anything illegal. Except the hack stuff. So why keep it secret? I don't know. But he was private and a perfectionist. Perhaps he simply wasn't proud of his results. Could be. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I'm sure this has been a difficult day for you. A difficult day for all of us. Message from Fran. Running out of leads to chase, Brat better have good news. Are you really going to take this to court? That's my plan. The circumstances may be irregular, but I'm still defending a client from a criminal charge. It's my responsibility to argue that he's not guilty of what he's been accused of. Is that what you believe? That he didn't commit suicide? I guess I haven't decided what I believe. We're not even 30 minutes, we'll keep going for a bit. I like using these little screens as the stopping points, but we're not that far. I thought that'd be a little longer, but we did get our witness testimony at least. You know what? We'll do this in transit bit. Would you kindly slow the hell down? I'm sorry, Adonai. Was I walking too quickly for you? I wasn't walking. I was speed walking. 2 flights of stairs. It's very different. Speed walking? Sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like the Zhao? And Zhao? I don't look. Let me look this one up real fast. This is It seems like it kind of like seems like a technique and like a different thing. I don't know, I might be looking at the wrong thing. Just let me catch my breath for a minute. Adonai? Is it possible that you are out of shape? No. But since we left the cab, your heart rate has... Not wearing the right clothes. Or the right shoes. Is that so? Yes. Also, I didn't stretch or hydrate, and the sun's reaching its zenith. That would have been several hours ago. You mean the air temp? You said it would be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself mentally for a short walk. Then you took off like a rocket. You didn't mention we'd have to go upstairs. Are you sure this place is even back here? The views online were quite clear. It's worth the trouble finding it. If you're a mountain climber. When I set Fran hunting for a musician in David's circle, I expected them to bring me someone from the city orchestra or a jazz club. Champagne flute in the teacup kind of musician. This is the tequila and neon part of town. It should be in view if we turn... Adonai, be careful. Of what? It's a stray. And it's bearing its fangs too. It could be carrying diseases. You should... relax. Adonai, it's growling. It's not growling at me. See? So it's just... that doesn't like... too much static. How did you get it to calm down? It's an animal, not a monster. It wants to be calm. You like animals? What kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals? Do you have a pet? No, never have. Why not? Because I don't want to take care of a pet. It seems counterintuitive to me. Well, it makes perfect sense to me, and I don't need it to make sense to you. But, he knows you're only this talkative when it's just the two of us. Just an observation. You shy or something? Did David program you to have android anxiety? It's genuinely only appropriate to respond to comments that are addressed to oneself. Today I've rarely been addressed directly by people, other than you. In other words, You're shy. That's not what I... Can I try petting it? There's no law against it. We'll keep going for a little. Ultraviolets. This is the establishment. Now to see if Isaac Porter is as habitual as Fran claims. You think Father was close with this man? This man who you've never met? I think he was close with him, yeah. At some point. Had some help making that deduction. Fran saw that their metadata showed a significant cooling of interactions between the two of them, particularly over the past month. But Fran also saw a phone call between the two last night. So they were close. You think they were sleeping together? That is completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about. Inappropriate? I deny it's only... I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator, excuse me. And it's like some kid. Did you catch the killer yet? No. The hell, I sent you his pose. I'm at his position. I haven't spoken to Porter yet. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now. Lame. Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Ashur a corporate sellout in your eyes? Everyone's a corporate sellout. But Ashur gets respect. If I'm a demolitions expert, he's like a really good architect. That's almost sweet, I think. Ashur started out working in Cube. So, in the architect analogy, by today's standard, he's like, I don't know. As a kid, he built all of his bricks by hand, or something. You know that lit homework can help you with forming analogies. Eat this analogy. Did that come through, or did the characters break? It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger. I take a Cube as a programming language. What's special about it? Pretty much anything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. You code with the assumptions that you'll always be connected. So you can depend on having fat libraries of references to lean on. And if something does go wrong, the errors get reported to you automatically. Not Cube. You can look it up. Basically, Cube was originally for robotics and, like, machinery. Stuff that had to operate in mines. Under the ocean. Middle of nowhere fields with zero signal service. So Cube had to be self-sufficient. Rugged. Where'd Ashur learn Cube anyway? It's older than dirt. From like the 40s. I don't know. I think his father had a machine shop or something. Vague. Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his family. And I never asked. What did your private investigator have to say at night? Not telling. Alright. Stage for the talent, pretty close to the floor. Guess it fits with the whole round table aspect of this place. Everyone's on more or less equal footing, dancing in the dark once we get past the bouncer. Do you think they might have met here? David and Porter? I can't see David walking in here. Because he found the walk so challenging? It's too loud to relax. And not dark enough to be anonymous. See. What's that face? You got an opinion to share? The atmosphere's not bad in here, but the music isn't quite. I'll find you a survey to fill out before we leave. What kind of music does an android even like? Early 21st century punk rock. Is that just you, or does that go for all androids? I haven't met all androids, I can't speak for them. Wonder what they'd say. If they're smart, they say that music peaked with early 21st century's punk rock. Debate settled. That's probably our guy. I can tell because he has a distinguishable silhouette. Wait. I think it's praise. Bar stocked full of colorful selections of busy bartenders. Hope this is the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food is any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste and the gap between chewing and swallowing. So you can, like, eat things. Yes, I can. But, like, android food? There's no such product. So what do androids eat? Online user guides for noble warm androids clarified that they don't eat anything in the traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat, it's to replenish specific vitamins, electrolytes. Sounds like a lot. Sounds a lot like what mod users go through with their sports drinks and energy bars, and chargers separation anxiety. According to the net, warm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forego electrical charging long term. Processed pellets? You mean like kibble? Like dog food? No, it's not like dog food at all. Can you buy it from the pet store? It seems that you can. They're like, here, we're gonna have androids, but we can't make them as human. But we'll draw this weird line where they get stuff from, that we treat them like pets sometimes. Really working this out, huh? Don't make them seem too human. That's just something you have to look up anyway. Because I always just eaten whatever father gave me. Like what? Marbled beef? Ever hypoponic avocados? Like grass? What is that? Great, another word I have to look up and hope that I get it right. It's like a French delicacy made from the fat and liver of a duck or goose. And then right under it, it says fucking production and controversy. I'm like, oh, look at this thing. Oh. It's called foie gras? Foie gras. That's how you say that. Apparently there seems to be some controversy with if it's like ethical or not. I guess it is duck. Very expensive duck. That sort of thing. I'm not paying for any of that. So she ate pretty expensive, like, food. Which is weird because they don't need to do that, so why do that? Dude, do you think David wanted to, like, settle down, quit his job, and raise his quote-unquote kid? You think that's what we're gonna learn? That he made this child or something? But he wanted to... No, that doesn't make sense because he wanted to give Sarah to Morgan. So what the... Herm. That one over there, he matches the photo of França. Should I approach now or look around some more? We'll look around some more, but I get a read on the room first. Make sure there's something else to... Alright, yeah, I think this is... I break it? Uh-oh. I might broke it. I think I broke it. Oh! I didn't see that! What kind of reading material gets left out in a club? Tabloid interview? Okay. Exclusive sit down with luxury. You've heard her name on everyone's lips, you've seen her face in magazines and commercials, and then double-checked to make sure the photos weren't labeled as edited. Now get all your burning questions out about her answered here in our exclusive interview with the mysterious young woman who's being called, and perhaps the only truly anonymous vote the net's ever seen, the most beautiful woman in the world. Why the name? People think it's an ego thing, but it was just a random username I picked back when I was grassroots. Then it was a pseudonym to give me a little shade from all the attention. Now it's a brand, and I can't change it without setting the stock market into spin, so... You're practically influential after partnering with you. Inti saw a 3,000% increase in share price. Yeah, I'm happy for them, of course, but to be honest, it's a pain at times like this. Gestures towards her clothes, plain white t-shirt and gym shorts, with no branding visible. Anyone else might seem sloppy or even unflattering on her, and only makes her natural beauty stand out that much more. What are you wearing, by the way? Can't wear anyone unless I'm intending something. If I don't dress like this, all my sponsors fall into bidding wars every time I leave my house. Every time I leave the house. Does it stress you all the attention? Stress is bad for your skin. They say mine's flawless. Can't argue with that. So do you have a skincare routine? Any tips you'd like to share? Be a little bratty, act a little spoiled, keeps you young. And how old are you exactly? Everyone's dying to know. 18 to 29, now and forever. Well, not real old she is. It is or isn't. Luxury's got one hell of a mind for business. I do her more good than that face. And maybe it's one hell of a face. In the meantime, she's... Ooh, powerful or powerless? Interview with luxury, so that's the name. I would say she's powerful. Like, anything she does can bring anything down, I think. I think that's what it's trying to say, so I'm gonna say powerful. Some rises are too meteoric, or even the Megs to grab the reins on. At this point, Luxury's got them at her mercy. She could spend their stocks in disarray with one selfie. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Good for her. Oh, so that's why it gave me the prompt to look around more because I didn't read that. Okay, yeah, that's him, alright. I like the purple eyes, it's good. It's a good shade. Also like the pink highlights. Or ends. Pink ends are nice. Pink tips, there we go. That's the word. Looks like he's killing time before his sets tonight. He ain't sure how to proceed on night. I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, I'll... Yeah, but fucking play it straight. But I'll save just for funsies. I say play it straight, fuck it. Isaac Porter? What's up? My name's Morgan. I'm David's friend. Right now I'm his lawyer. Can we talk? Depends. Are you a friend from work? No. Over here. Yeah, I think that's better. I think if you play it cool, you come off too much as, like, you need something. It's just straight up, yeah, I'm David's friend. I knew David. This guy, he seemed like a guy that would appreciate just to play it straight more than the act. Thanks, Isaac. Don't thank me yet. Might just sit here, shut my mouth, and stick you with my tab. What kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend? I was defense attorney. Think you missed the bus on that, then, yeah? I am a friend that needs to know what happened yesterday. Doesn't everyone? Try somewhere else, friendly lawyer. I haven't seen him in weeks. You might not have seen him, but we both know that you spoke with him over the phone yesterday. Only a short time before he died. What the hell? Isaac. It's pretty obvious that you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary, so why don't we cut to the chase? No lies, no playing coy. Fine. Sarah. Yes, am I? Hell? That thing transmitting? I am not streaming any data, no. Bro doesn't seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David is keeping secrets from. You need to record everything for the court. Fine. You two were together in such... Is that correct? We were together. I ended it. Oh, so they were, like, together. Yesterday. What if the whole thing was yesterday was just David going through a bad breakup? I wonder, and he just needed someone to share a drink with. I don't know, we had that same kind of misdirection with the first case of like, he killed her out of passion. And he confessed. No, he accidentally broke some things, wrote a sad little note, walked out, and came back. Okay. Yeah, I, for some reason, didn't pick up the hint that they were saying that they were together. I just thought that they were, like, friends. Or, like, they kind of, like, there's, like, a fan. Care to elaborate? On our entire relationship? Look, you can tell me everything once and I can get it on the record. Or you can hear the same questions over and over again from 1,000 different cops and Megs for the next 3 months. Okay, so now I can see why this guy would be pretty important for this case. Probably one of the only other people David knew. We met in a bar. I'd seen him come in a few times, each time with someone else. Each time talking with his mouth, but not looking with his eyes. Ticked me off. Scribbling on napkins instead of letting a single gin and tonic sweat onto the table for 2 hours. The states would all go to the bathroom or take a call and slip out the back. One of them didn't make it 10 minutes. He'd still sit there the rest of the night, unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious or stupid or shameless or most confident man in the world. It ticked me off. One night, things were slow and my set had been cancelled. The state hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so I asked him why he'd insist on coming there, night after night. Just to ignore vapid people he wasn't interested in at a shitty bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, "I like your music." Aw. Man, that ticked me off. It was cute early on, and being so passionate about work, I could barely pretend to understand. I liked that we gave each other space, you know? Felt like we were being mature or whatever. Until... There was no until. No one day where everything turned sour. At some point, I started to understand where his priorities were. How I ranked in them. Like I said, he was passionate about his work. I just wrongly assumed that he would also be that passionate about me at some point. So, he realized that, like, if things continued, he just wouldn't ever be as important to David as David's work. So I pulled away a little to see if he'd notice, he'd miss me. Testing him, like that isn't the biggest red flag in the world. He never budged. I could ignore him for days and he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset. He'd just apologize. He didn't want to fight with me. Guess he was never invested enough to bother. I think it might have been the opposite. Maybe he was so invested that he just didn't want to. It was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those nights, not giving a shit when people walked away, and still I... The stupid idea that somehow, for whatever reason, I'd be different. I would be special. But I wasn't, so I ended it. Last night, I called him, didn't expect he'd pick up. I had everything prepared to leave a message with an episodic or whatever. But he answered. First ring. I think, oh my god, you probably fucking deeply cared about him. Just David's weird. Without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness. That ticked me off. So I told him exactly how valued he had made me feel the past few months. I told him exactly how insignificant I felt as the boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Ashur. And what did he say? He apologized. Then he asked me if that was all I called to tell him. Oof. I hung up after that. But the rest of the night wrapped in warm disdain for him and his coldness. He had made that easy for me. Went to sleep, hurt, but clean, ready for something new. And then this morning I woke up to see that my ex killed himself not 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life without so much as a don't. What the hell, man? What the hell, David? Now we're just the tip of an iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards. Parasites who want to hear about the man who sent David Ashur over the edge. Oh. Oh yeah, that's probably not awesome for him. Never wanted to be his last lifeline, or the straw that broke his back. I just wanted to be his goddamn boyfriend. Turns out that was asking for too much. It's yet to be determined whether David committed suicide. Serious? You don't have all the facts. And you do? Any one of them point to anything else? Thought so. Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to it. That's it? No summons? The court has no need for you to retell a sad story like that. The court, huh? Sorry to bother you at work. Sarah, let's go. Your stylography is very impressive. Yeah, thanks. And your range is remarkable. So it pained me to see that all your works in the last quarter have been so melancholy. I think... What the hell would you know about any of that? What's the matter? Can't find the words? Need to steal them from somewhere first? Butcher them before shitting them back out? I was not trained on any data sets that... Ah, pardon me, my mistake, really. Not your fault. You're only standing here because rich prick nerds were allowed to rob the world blind for most of the century. Sarah, we're leaving. Ooh. I could hear, like, as I was speaking, I could hear, like, the tense music. What was that about? Seems like Porter doesn't like androids. That was definitely, like, that was very bitter. He was under the false impression that it was programmed using a massive automated learning model. An early 21st century... Not that. Why'd you talk to him? I wanted to... I just felt that I should say something to him. Word of advice. People don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. They want it from the people they want it from. Work for anywhere else, it's just corn syrup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is, they'll just start gagging. You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai? Compared to you, I'm a goddamn savant. Come on, there's not much time left. Is there still somewhere you want to investigate? Somewhere I need to return to, actually. Porter's right. As things stand, I don't have any evidence that could establish an alternative interpretation of facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there's only one place I could find it at this point. Are we going back to the crime scene? I think that this probably a great place to start. It is the crime scene. There's gotta be something we missed. Oh yeah, the basement. Because they mentioned it that for a moment he walked away to the basement to get the drinks. So it would have to be something here. I'm gonna save. And we're gonna go back to the title. Yeah, I think that's a really good stopping point, but honestly a really interesting part because we met with two people that were really close to David. The witness, a longtime friend, and the ex-boyfriend who broke up the night prior. Or like the night of, actually. Neither of them are sticking out as actual suspects. I believe that he didn't end his own life, so there's gotta be something we haven't found yet. This is getting interesting. We're just gonna have to find out later, so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye!